In the meantime, you know what would be a good idea? Go out and go around your neighborhoods. I know friends who are going down to Pennsylvania this weekend, doing some door-to-door work down there. Pennsylvania, obviously, incredibly important. Wisconsin, Ohio, North Carolina, New Hampshire, Nevada in particular. If you have the opportunity to go out, knock on some doors, explain to people why it's very important for them to vote. Well, there are places in New York State, frankly, where it's also really important. Here is Joe Biden, who I gotta say, like, he's been out there. I know everybody's talking about how much Obama's been out there, but I feel like Biden has been out there in a more effective way than Obama was when he was in that same position back in 2010. And this, I think, it was perhaps, and I have no sense of how much it's coming up in the context of each House district. But one of the things that made it very effective for Democrats in 2018 is that they had a national message, which is Donald Trump sucks. You can't vote against him, but you can vote against the guy. More often than not, it's a guy who is his surrogate. Now, of course, there's a different dynamic going on. You have the president of the opposite party. I think most of you are familiar that it's almost a lock every year that the party in power is going to lose seats in the House. However, the Republicans, about 3 or 4 or 5 weeks ago, maybe even more than that, started to give the Democrats what could be a national message. The polling seems to show that the abortion question sort of baked in already, that there's not a lot of growth in that area. Part of it also, it seems to have like left the front pages in September and October in particular. But the fact is, the Republicans have a plan to cut Social Security and Medicare, and to do so even with Joe Biden in office, and that is to leverage the national debt ceiling. Here's Joe Biden on that in Florida.
I have a brochure here he has. He's in charge.
Pause it for 1 second. This is Tim Scott's brochure. Rick Scott's, excuse me. Rick Scott, senator from Florida. He is also the chair of the National Republican Senate Re-election Committee. And here's Biden.
I have a brochure here he has. He's in charge of electing Republicans to the Senate. He's the head of the campaign. And he laid out a clear plan. He said every 5 years, Social Security and Medicare would have to be reauthorized. And this is from the report. I made it larger, listed all they want to do. Quote, all federal legislation sunsets, means goes out of existence in 5 years. If the law is worth keeping, Congress will pass it again. So every 5 years, the Congress have to vote to reauthorize Social Security. Reauthorize it, or else it goes away. Would have to vote to reauthorize Medicare. Reauthorize veterans benefits. And I go down the list, but guess what? The very idea that a senator from Florida wants to cut Social Security and Medicare, and by the way, they don't have to go away, they can cut it. They can change it, basically. A senator from Florida going after Medicare and Social Security? I tell you what, I don't know where, as they say in Southern, don't know where y'all been. Hot damn, boy. I tell you, look, it's so outrageous you might not even believe it. And again, word for word, all federal legislation sunsets, means goes away in 5 years. If the law is worth keeping, Congress can pass it again. In other words, it goes out of existence if Congress doesn't vote to keep it. Isn't that wonderful?
There's a couple of things that are interesting here about this. And understand that means they can destroy Social Security and Medicare without even taking a vote. They do nothing. They control the House. They control the Senate. They only have to do nothing if it goes away automatically. And they could reauthorize it, but with 67 years is when you get to retire. 69 years is when you get to retire. There's no cost of living increases. And the reason why Joe Biden says you may not believe this, that there's a specific reason why he does that, because they have done focus test groups over the years. They've had multiple findings like this, where they show people Republican Party positions. They show them the platform, or they raise like the fact that Republicans have since 1936, since the day it was implemented, been attempting to destroy Social Security. They tell people in the focus groups this, and the focus group people do not believe that's their position. They show them ads and they go, I don't, no, that's a lie. And the focus testers are like, what do you mean it's a lie? And they go like, I just don't think that's their position.
It's not real.
It's not real. They just can't believe that there are politicians who are out to do this. And let's be clear. The idea that the Republican Party is willing to pursue things that the majority of Americans are against, we have seen this. We see it with abortion. We see it with a whole host of other policies. They have worked it out where minoritarian rule is possible. It exists in the Senate. It exists through gerrymandering across the states. It exists in the context of the Electoral College. The last two Republican presidents who have been elected to this country for the first time did so without the majority of votes. So they can get away with this. They work for a very specific group of people that are not interested in things like Social Security and Medicare, VA benefits. I mean, go on and on. That's just the reality of it. You say what you want about the Democrats, and we certainly do. But you have one party that is out, and you want to talk about enabling the Democrats to be crappy. When you talk about cutting Social Security and Medicare, it doesn't make it that hard. You've really lowered the bar. So get out and do some work if you can over the next couple of days. And, you know, for some people, abortion may be the issue. For people my age, the idea of Social Security and Medicare going away in 5 years, it's a bummer. I'm looking forward to that Medicare.
Yeah, let increasingly minoritarian Congress deal with these programs.
I can't even begin to tell you. I just got to like the health insurance stuff is just the greatest pain in the ass. I feel like I have a second job. Meanwhile, speaking of our first job, we have a couple of sponsors today.